So, Charlie, it's been 3 months since we spoke last time. We have now, or you have, fully deployed GelatoConnect in all three modules: procurement, production, and logistics. And we're all curious to get your view on where you stand today. What have you seen? But perhaps before we jump into that, at a high level, what has happened in your business? If we compare October 2023 with October 2024, what has happened in your company?
Many things, of course, and because we'll be long. I will start by proudly saying we are now achieving 100% growth month per month, comparing it per last year.
Wow.
And that's also across many sectors in our
I didn't know that. So
no.
You've doubled your business in 12 months' time.
Yes. And that's without taking on no more machines and no more operators. In any field, whether it's procurement, logistics, or production, we have the same staff we had 1 year ago.
That is very energizing to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, the people here in Gelato, the product managers and the engineers and everyone is super, super excited to hear that. So what do you think, let's break it down. Let's take module by module and just see what has happened then. So if we start with procurement, last time we spoke, you had reduced your warehouse by about 10%, but still you had increased your revenue 20%.
Yeah. So
how has that developed since we last spoke?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we had certain metrics we measured back in our last podcast. Since then, we have had a lot of focus on growth, of course, accelerating that. So the main help now has actually not been to decrease our inventory value, but rather to reduce missed volume. So, we have seen incredible efforts made by the software of Gelato, but also by my one operator who used to sit and add all the stock inside that were being ordered of, her results of the stock we have on site now is incredible. And this, I can view this, through both the mobile app and also through the desktop to really see that performance dropping.
But interesting. So let's again try to break this down. You've said you've doubled your business.
Yeah.
But if you then compare year over year, what has happened to your total warehouse cost? How much has that grown? Because that's really the interesting thing now. If we look at the automatic
That's true. There's a correlation there, of course, that needs to match. I would say our inventory value as a whole has been raised about 30% more. But then keep in mind, our volume has increased 100%.
Wow. Okay. That is. So you're basically, if we go from 100 to 200 in revenue, and we then increase the warehouse by 30%, we kind of have a 35-40% reduction in the total warehouse for each euro you take in.
Yes, that's freed up space in other areas, So one area, I'm not going to jump into conclusions yet, but we're already looking rather at, machine investments,
Okay.
Other type of things to have a higher output in the actual production now, because we've reduced our shipping time, right? We've reduced our, order intake time. But the actual backlog we have now is rather how can we just produce more in the hours while the machines are running? Before it was reversed, right? The machines were standing waiting for me or my operator sales team to bring in the jobs. Now that is happening at such speed that, now I just need the machines to work faster.
If we move into the workflow or the production, you've also added some software to other workflows. If we then look at from the apparel industry, because you are in the apparel industry, we now have a direct to garment. We've added direct to fill. We have also added embroidery. And now we also have added drinkware.
Yeah.
So speak a bit about how that expansion from starting with direct to garment has happened to where you are today.
Yeah, so just quickly, I will touch base as well, because it all aligns back to the procurement, and it wouldn't have been possible to launch these onboardings from our side if procurement wasn't done already and logistics was already done. So we could, use that base to have the stock on site, have the SKUs, have the warehouse locations, and we just had to really create with Gelato the machine connectivity, right? To keep producing not only DTG But now embroidery, we are fully onboarded. We use it every single day, fully through GelatoConnect. We also, I think a lot of apparel printers can relate to this. Everybody within apparel, even though you do t-shirts, has always had a small, sublimation mug heat press just standing there collecting dust almost as something you want to add. We didn't find a support for this with, the barcode strips, info strips. So we never launched this really. We did it a couple demos for customers now and again. Like 2 weeks ago, we were a bit afraid, peak has started, we got a lot on our plate, but we said, let's try it. And, we didn't add one more person either, same team, and they managed to get out over 100 mugs the first day without any delays or affecting any other outputs within the warehouse that day. So that itself was, quite a significant increase in revenue just by adding that workflow and incoming orders, but not any machinery or any staff to it.
If we look at embroidery, one thing that I've understood from the product team here in Gelato and our engineers, you've been quite vocal about the industry's challenges and complexities with embroidery.
Yeah.
And now it feels like you're very energized about what you see in the embroidery workflow software that Gelato has added to your company. Can you speak a bit about what are those challenges and what do you feel from an embroidery workflow perspective Gelato has solved? Why is that so exciting from your perspective?
Yeah, so since like 2017, I've been visiting, facilities across the world doing, POD within apparel, right? And I've always seen pretty decent workflows for D2G. Nothing really top level, but it's been definitely working. And I visited some big facilities, but for embroidery, wherever I've gone, I've still seen USB sticks adding into the machine, connecting the job ID, by like 7 or 8 digits, and then adding the color and needle sequence. Everybody who works with embroidery understands what I mean, to match the color coordination, leading to, heavy mistakes and, of course, a slow output. Even big places, some very respectable places. So I was very eager to get that going. Now with our GelatoConnect embroidery workflow, with the barcode, we get the correct needle sequence and the file into the machine automatically. So, for example, this is a fun story. I have my main operator within embroidery now. He's dyslexic, actually. So he had a really tough challenge, actually matching jobs up until now. His mental state at the moment is so much better. He travels now over 1 hour to work for me now after I moved facility last year, because I launched this, rather than being in our old, manual factory, which we had in Stockholm with other colleagues there.
That is such a great story.
I tell him that all the time, he doesn't always enjoy I bring it up, wherever we go, but he's getting used to it now.
Yeah, well, it just brings a very personal story to this podcast and to your company. So thank you for sharing that.
Yep, and now
thank you to him.
Yeah, exactly. I will say hello from you.
Yeah, and so you've now added mugs and drinkware.
Yep.
You're running the workflow also for embroidery, and you've used it for direct to garment.
Yeah.
You have mentioned to Nico, who is leading much of the apparel workflow, your interest in direct to film. So for the viewers and the listeners, could you first just very briefly, high level, describe what is direct to film and why is it, so exciting from your perspective?
Yeah. DTF is like the hottest topic in the industry now. It has been for some time, right? Whatever branch magazine you read, you hear about it. It's taken over very fast. So basically, instead of printing straight onto the garment, which is direct to garment, that's what it stands for, right? Including the pre-treat process, you now print on a piece of film, similar to the old school transfer printing in a sense. You print direct to film, and you can then heat press this onto any garment, any cotton blends, polyester blends, training clothes, in a safer and a more way where you get the same results, whatever garment you have.
So basically, with one machine, you reach much bigger addressable markets.
Yes. Yes, you get an extremely wide catalog in what you can actually, add the decoration on. Yes.
Okay. And just from my understanding, and probably some of the listeners also, what are the drawbacks with DTF compared to direct to garment or DTG?
Yeah, we haven't actually seen many so far. Everybody's been waiting, saying, this is going to be a fluke. There's always these kind of conversations. So far, very stable launches. The machine market, the machine parks are getting more competitive. So, the DTF machines, the rate they're being produced in now is accelerating, which is extremely good news for us, of course, within production, because finally they start talking about higher output, printing on big rolls. And if we then, from a production facility and from your software perspective, address this, the outputs will be way larger than any direct-to-garment printer we have seen so far on the market.
So let's change the question. If you are a direct-to-garment machine producer, what arguments do you have against DTF?
Yeah, I mean, as a picky printer, I would say the only thing is you get a little different feel, right? It's a little tiny bit more plasticky feel when you do DTF.
Okay.
Direct garment, it kind of blends in to the garment nicely. However, I must say I'm being very impressed by the developments right now of the direct-to-film consumables, leading to soft feelings and also, incredible washability.
Okay. Very interesting, Charlie.
Yeah, as a big topic, that's actually very interesting, and I'm sure you will engage in many topics regarding that.
Yeah, well, you basically just also explained why it has been such a big focus from so many of our apparel partners, and why we've invested heavily in launching DTF in parallel to GTG.
I heard that. That's the last thing I need to join, right? The DTF workflow. So that's definitely something I'm very eager to
Yeah,
step.
and you can't join now because you don't have DTF machines.
No, but I will. I can make that happen fast.
Yeah, that's good. We like fast. Charlie, if we then move into the output efficiency, you compare a year ago in the old world with today. Now you're fully operational with GelatoConnect end to end. On the logistics side, how do you look at the output efficiency per person? And also, what have you seen in terms of savings in shipping costs?
In output, we are anywhere close to 100% at the moment in difference compared to last year in the old world because of creating labels automatically.
Okay. And that explains why you've doubled the revenue but not added staff.
Exactly. Otherwise, I would have to add, 2 shipping people probably if this was last year same time. That's a key point for us here. And also, I don't even think we remember how to create these orders manually anymore. So we are very dependent on the workflow in that sense. On terms of savings, we're looking at in the Swedish market where we're based and where we have an extreme volume, extreme daily output, anywhere close to 40% savings per shipping label on average.
Okay, so for each parcel, you're also reducing your shipping cost by about 40%.
Yeah. And we reached the same KPIs we had last year as well in terms of delivery time, delivery speed, pickups, all those things are important as well, just as price.
That is super exciting. Looking at procurement, all the different workflows that are now being deployed, and you're looking at DTF, direct to film, in addition. And then we spoke about the logistics. So all in all, we're speaking about a very game-changing for you way of operating your whole plant, really. And we have in Gelato for, I think, like last 5-6 years, been thinking a lot about the mobile. We say that the mobile should be the remote control for the people in the production facility. And the reason is many of these production facilities are so large. Yours is also quite big if you include the warehouse.
Yep.
So what does the mobile phone and our GelatoConnect mobile app, how are you using it? And what does it mean for you and your staff?
Yeah. I mean, me plus 2 more people in my staff, we use it daily. We have the push notifications on to understand when we're receiving deliveries, incoming goods, when the orders have been shipped for procurement, for instance. We check our label errors. We check our dispatch overview, just a thing like that. To check that so accessible, so fast, whether you're in the warehouse or on the run, is a game changer. Because, speed is so important. And to solve errors fast, whether it's a label issue, production issue, anything that affects the daily operation, to access that in a click, that for me and for the staff has been truly remarkable.
And so you used to go to the news in the morning, but now you go to the app and check the orders coming in, or?
Yeah, and we can check it live as well. So anytime at night, if you feel the urge as well, you're missing work, I go in and have a look.
I mean, you're an entrepreneur, a founder. You would never check anything like that at night, would you?
After 5 o'clock.
No, exactly. So if you look into the future, let's go into 2025. We have a very good, from my perspective, partnership. You have helped us tremendously. You've been instrumental in guiding us in DTG, and also the logistics in the app. When we come together now, Tidy Merch and Gelato, what do you see in 2025?
Oh, I feel we're competitive now. From our perspective, we feel powerful now. We feel backed up by the software. I always had a sense before where we felt weak, in a sense of, we knew we had the knowledge, we had the machinery, we had a great team here just outside Stockholm who wants to reach the Nordics, the world, big dreams. We feel powerful, we feel backed up by the software. And I want also to push not only the hard facts, the metrics, the numbers, but also the soft values, like you mentioned. The relationships we and my team has gained, and the valuable lessons from many of your fantastic staff members has been life-changing in a way as well. I really want to say that. I really mean it when I say it, for everybody who hears this as well. That is something we here appreciate truly. To meet such great people and to work on a daily basis develops us so much. So much.
Thank you so much for saying that. I do feel the same. I'm ridiculously lucky when you go out, travel, and meet our production partners and the GelatoConnect users now. I cannot imagine myself working with all these great people, and that includes you and your company, and it means a lot to us to get your guidance and your feedback. So, Charlie, thank you so much for this update. I think we will check in again at the beginning of next year to see where you're going. I just have one last question. In terms of, if you are one of the machine providers in this industry listening to this podcast, from your perspective, where do you see the technology going? And from your perspective, where do you see your investments going into 2025, perhaps 2026?
With the development, we mentioned how faster it goes to ship now, how much faster we can procure garments, how much faster we can work around with barcodes, info strips. What I need now is machines with higher output and lower cost, of course, but that goes without saying. But really a higher output, because we can provide the orders into the machines now in a faster pace. We can take them out of the machines and get them out to the customer in a faster pace, almost in 100% difference, both pre-production and after production. I need to see the same energy from the machine vendors now. How can we get the machine to produce 100 times faster?
And that links to DTF. Sorry to interrupt you, but that links to DTF or direct to fill?
Oh, and I think so. And I'm ready to look into that deeply this Q4.
Okay.
Because I think altogether, software, production hubs, and then machine vendors, if we do this together, we have a happier and the consumer. And they're the ones paying, for the T-shirt, for the hoodie. And that's my drive. That's my goal. But everybody needs to lean in.
Yeah. What a great ending. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Thank you. Thank you for the trust.